Good morning, everybody, and this is your Forex day trade setup for today. So, starting off with Euro-USD as usual, and looking at the 8 hour, we are still sideways. We didn't really get through the levels that I gave you from the upside, and we're now bouncing on the levels on the downside. So, this is a potential opportunity to buy into this. We've had 2 pin bars, we've had an engulfing bar, but then the next 3 bars have pretty much gone nowhere. I'm more interested right now in the oscillators. They are pointing down, so I'd want to see them group like this at the moment, or alternatively start turning apart in the area that they are right now, but we don't see that just yet. So switch down to the 1 hour, and from the 1 hour perspective you can see sideways most of yesterday. No real opportunity of trading yesterday, but it is testing the moving averages, and we've got the crossover. So we first got the death cross there, and now we've got the 155 crossing over the 33 at the moment. So my view hasn't really changed at the moment. In order for us to get a trade, we need to get below 121.828, and that'll only bring in 121.614 into play. A break through that, then we've got some bigger targets to the downside. But that is the structure at the moment. This is an inverse cup and handle at the moment, or even a head and shoulders. There's your shoulder, head, shoulder. But I think I'll just go with a cup and handle. There's your cup, and this is your handle that's forming right now. So 1 hour is looking at a potential bearish turn, but on the 8 hour we are still trending up. And if I move even down to the 3 hour, you'll see we are technically still in an uptrend, although we are rejecting this area. So you don't want to be trading with an area like this where you've got tails, and especially not when you're fighting with a moving average like that. So this level needs to drop. So that's 121.828, and then you can see a potential move to the downside. Now that in itself means pointing to a stronger dollar. Now look what's happened on the US dollar Japanese yen. So we were just bouncing around here. I remember yesterday I said to you, or most of the week, just wait for something to happen here, because it could be continuation to downside, or alternatively we could hold this trend line, well not trend line, sorry, the moving average for a bounce to the upside. And look what happened. We had a massive move up. Now that is directly related to the Japanese economy, or the Japanese market, the Nikkei, that jumped up 2%. So the yen and the Nikkei sort of correlate in that fashion. But it does paint a picture for the dollar. And I think that's the one thing that everybody is sort of looking at the moment, to see whether there's a strong dollar or a weak dollar. Okay, so let's just look at the hour. You can see yesterday, well, during yesterday's video, not a meeting, looking for pullback onto some structure here to come and test these breaks before buying into it. Didn't quite happen, but just to show you that this is not an exact science. There's the first pin bar, and you can see we were above it, came back, and there's the next pin bar. So those are the first 2 closest tails, and we're basically turned in amongst it. So that often happens. So often what you're looking for is pullbacks into that, and you're looking for just pick a stop. I normally pick a stop just below the moving averages, and then look for a move to the upside. But anyway, that's what transpired. Where we're going from here, obviously it's a strong move up, so I'm looking for a retest of this area here. Let's get to the hour. I can give it to you properly. So I'm looking for a retest of 109.777. That did happen yesterday, and then alternatively 109.715. So that could be done, but look at my oscillators, they'll group the upside. So I would expect some sort of profit taking, and probably just a drift lower. The other way to look at it would be a Fibonacci retracement, but that is a really strong move, so I wouldn't be surprised just to see a range form now. And Fibonacci would be back to 109.500. Okay, so yeah, so I think there's nothing really on offer here unless we start breaking up. But I think what's going to happen here, you're just going to form some form of a flag, bounce down, or just bounce around in a range. I don't expect it to continue Although the bulls will want to continue, I think we'll probably range rather, being a Friday as well. Moving on to British pound, Japanese yen, similar picture here. You can see double whammy here. So we've got some good news coming out of the Bank of England, which basically accelerated this triangle break for us on the pound. So yeah, a lot of the times before news is coming out, you often see structure forming, and the probabilities of a continuation for a strong trend is slightly higher before news than a drop. But you can never be sure, so that's why a lot of traders don't even bother with the news. They wait for the news to finish and then look for the trade. But anyway, moving to yesterday, you can see yesterday I said to you, I'm not bothered with this because we are sideways. Well, we are no longer sideways. We have broken this level here, 154.480, and with a big engulfing bar like that with news, typically it's a worthwhile trade just to jump in on it and follow the trend. So same situation as the US dollar, Japanese yen. We've broken up. We're forming some form of a flag here. So this is one for London breakout strategy. And the reason I say that is that's our range at the moment. The reason I say that is because it's a flag. So the flag is forming inside the London range. So a break to the upside and sort of a retest of that gives you opportunity to buy into this. A break to the downside is going to give you the pullback onto structure that you may need, and you'll have to pick up these pin bars, well, not pin bars, these tails as your levels, and also the Fibonacci. So I would just put your Fibonacci in from there to there, keep it in on this pair. Any pullback onto structure here is going to give you an opportunity to buy. I wouldn't be selling. I think this trend has reversed at the moment, or still in a bullish trend, but we're just very far away and the moving average is pointing up, so I just wait for the pullback to buy into this. Okay, Euro British pound. So here you can see a weak euro, strong pound, and that because of Bank of England. So technically we're still sideways though on this pair. So we were hovering in here in amongst the moving average, and I said to you, I'm not interested in that yesterday. We have now cleared that and come down to test these levels to the downside. My problem at the moment, and I think, is that as far as I'm concerned, that's just testing the bottom of this consolidation range. So I think for the rest of today, more than likely still stay out of this until I see some kind of structure. So the structure I'm looking for is a pullback. Pullback, just get both of them in. So the pullback is going to be, first one is this one here, which we could argue has happened already with this bar. So that is 086072, and then there's another one up here at 086200. So if price gets back into that area and we start getting sort of rejection bars, then this trend line is more than likely going to hold, and we'll get another move to the downside. Alternatively, we're looking for a break below here and a retest. So this is another one for London breakout strategy, but look at the range from the close yesterday. So there's our range. Let me just zoom in. Okay, so whoops, not quite our range, but there's our range there. So there's our range on a level. So yeah, a break up above that brings this level into play, which is 086072, and a break below this area breaks that level. And if I zoom out again and you look left, you'll see this big consolidation area then breaks, but there's quite a bit of support here, and if that breaks, there's nothing really much holding it. It's all these tails along this downtrend which will give some resistance, but it's not going to give you a lot of resistance. So it'll be short little choppy moves, exactly like it's happened before. So interesting one to watch. I think still think there's some value here for some shorts. I think just see what happens with the London breakout. If this carries on like this, you can also just bounce around in a range, being a Friday, so just watch out for that. But if we do get the break, that's definitely a signal for more shorts there. So anyway, the pound is the one to watch by the looks of things, and that's where you'll probably make your money today if it does break out, if it's structure. Otherwise, it's going to range and going into the weekend, and also the close of the month coming up. So anyway, just be cautious. Don't jump into it unnecessarily. Wait for the pullbacks onto structure, or wait for the break in the pullback and then get in on it. Patience is key. Patience is key. Anyway, enough rambling from me. Hope it helps, and we'll catch up with you next week. Cheers for now.